China amplifies covert AI campaigns to deeply infiltrate democracies, analysts. As Beijing expands its artificial intelligence capabilities, it's deploying the technology to erase domestic dissent entirely and wage large-scale covert influence operations against Western societies, experts warn. OpenAI, the maker of ChatGPT, revealed in its February 25 report that it banned an individual associated with Chinese law enforcement who exploited the flagship chatbot to support a series of clandestine campaigns targeting adversaries inside China and beyond. Detailed in a case study titled, Covert.io, China's Cyber Special Operations, the report noted that the user leveraged the model to draft and refine periodic status updates on the campaign's progress. The broad range of activities they described illustrates the scope and the scale of these operations, including the range of countries, issues, and people they target, it said. Using open-source investigative techniques, the company said it identified behavior across the Internet that matched some of the activity referenced in the user's engagement with ChatGPT. Mixed results. The report noted the impact of these tactics has been mixed, with some dissidents losing followers, reducing their activity or quitting entirely, while others targeted by the campaign remain active. Feng Chongyi, an associate professor in China Studies at the University of Technology Sydney, is no stranger to such attacks. On X, we often encounter situations where a bunch of people suddenly launch personal attacks against you, people I don't know at all, with no grievances between us, Feng, who has been critical of Beijing and was detained for a week in China in 2017, told the Epoch Times. You can almost certainly conclude these are Internet Navy, spreading fabricated content to discredit you. It's one of their most common tricks. Internet Navy refers to paid trolls hired to flood social media with propaganda and disinformation, including China's 50-cent army, known for spreading pro-Beijing narratives online. Feng warned that the Chinese Communist Party's information warfare abroad is a sweeping operation involving dedicated units and military forces, an enormous system with vast numbers of personnel engaged in this war, that should not be underestimated. The CCP combines its surveillance technology with the full exploitation of AI against overseas Chinese communities and the Western world. That is the fundamental posture, Feng said. Chen Yonglin, a former Chinese diplomat, said China's latest AI technology has one primary mission of bolstering the CCP's political control, with a particular preference for fabricated sex scandals to attack and divide overseas dissidents. Against people like Xing Shui, or Chinese dissidents active on Western social media platforms, they use AI to generate deepfake posts and disinformation campaigns, Chen said. But because China's AI databases are quite chaotic, people overseas are far better at detecting fakes than those inside China, so it only causes temporary confusion. Xing Shui is a China expert and pro-democracy activist based in Canada. Total silence within. The report also detailed how the Chinese regime combines physical and digital tactics to target dissidents on its own soil. In one case, the user described plainclothes officers placing hostile posters near the homes of a critic's family members before photographing and circulating them online as if authentic. Chen cautioned that dissidents inside China face far graver consequences than those abroad, with virtually no avenue of escape. Beijing is applying unrestricted warfare against domestic dissidents. Combined with physical control, it silences dissent entirely, Chen said. Because of China's AI, brainwashed citizens inside the country cannot distinguish truth from fiction, leaving them sealed inside a world of state-manufactured lies. Unrestricted warfare is a doctrine central to the CCP's geostrategic thinking, in which war is treated as broad and flexible, extending well beyond conventional military action. Feng concurred, noting that DeepSeek, the best-known Chinese AI app, which faces bans across the United States, has been shown to be riddled with disinformation, affecting not just dissidents but ordinary citizens left in the dark about reality. China is deeply afraid that its people will learn the truth. The CCP has used Chinese AI to flood the information space with disinformation, degrading the quality of information across the Chinese-speaking world and causing serious harm to people inside the country, he said. Covert AI infiltration. Beijing's AI-driven influence operations targeted foreign politicians as well, with the report revealing the user sought ChatGPT's assistance in planning a coordinated influence campaign against Japanese Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi. Takaichi's remarks drew sharp condemnation from Beijing after she condemned its repression in the Inner Mongolia region in October, and warned in November that a Chinese attack on Taiwan could invoke Japan's right to collective self-defense. However, the report said ChatGPT refused to assist in such planning, and while the activity illustrates apparent operational planning and implementation across the Internet, it nevertheless does not appear to have achieved much impact. Fong said anti-American and anti-Japanese sentiment gives Beijing a ready foundation for cyber operations targeting Japanese politics, with AI likely to make such influence campaigns far more covert and harder to detect. China's cyber operations still look unsophisticated, but they will keep pushing with more indirect, plausible-seeming attacks targeting Western democracies, hoping to mislead more people, Fong said. Chen said while China's overseas propaganda and democratic infiltration are nothing new, Beijing is now deploying AI to conduct large-scale digital transnational repression. The Chinese regime has studied Western democratic systems extensively, and they know where the vulnerabilities lie, Chen said. Moreover, they have united front organizations abroad and will combine all of that with the latest technology to keep infiltrating the West. Stay vigilant. Fong said while the CCP is waging a cold war against Western governments, members of the public should sharpen their critical thinking when consuming China-related information. Beijing is weaponizing freedom of speech to undermine democratic values and drive a wedge between the US and Europe, so citizens must stay vigilant, Fong said. Chen said people must avoid Chinese technology and AI tools, calling on Western democracies to accelerate development of their own AI to fully replace Chinese alternatives. China's AI may lag far behind the West in quality, but its tainted databases allow the CCP to instantly generate mass volumes of fabricated posts to smear dissidents. The world must recognize the CCP for what it is, an enemy of civilized society, said Chen.